two.
Part 2.
It's Dan and Shell.
And Messages of Madness.
Table salt carpool. Ride with us in the morning on the way to work.
Yes, child.
So we were talking about conflict management, and you were getting into this real deep situation that happened to you, and it even involves a little bit of discrimination.
A little bit. I would say.
Could have been some great lessons about diversity learned in this situation, but pick it up. What happened?
Well, yeah. So my goal was to go visit this county so that I can kind of see what was going on in the county, support her a little further. Prior to me getting to the county, one of my VPs, we worked in a flat organization, so my direct report was one of the vice presidents of it wasn't a university, but it was a nonprofit organization. So, it was the VP, and they approached me and said that they wanted me to go to the same particular county with them. And I'm thinking, oh, perfect. I was planning on going to this county anyway. Sure, I ride with you. And usually I don't ride with anyone because I like to have control over my time and, leave when I'm ready. But I did.
So you weren't late, huh? Okay. Anyway.
Late today on Smart, right?
Y'all check that out.
Yes, ma'am. I wanted some control over my time. And I was not late, child. I was with the VP. So we get there, and we're at the table, and the young lady come out, we're just going to have just a general conversation about what I thought was about the county. And it turned out...
you handled this conflict real professional.
Yeah, because, I'm like, we had this issue via email and phone. I'm like, this is my opportunity to kind of, interface with her. Great, great. So when we get there, the VP starts this conversation about, the reason why we're here. So I'm blindsided. I had no clue that there was that kind of thing about to happen. She didn't tell me prior to us getting there. We drove an hour. The entire time in the car, you didn't say anything. We get there, and
she brought you there to set you up.
Set me up. And so we're sitting across the table from the young lady. Now this is probably about 7-8 years ago, so I'm kind of remembering some of the stuff sketchy. But I remember being across the table from the young lady, and she basically said that she felt that I was creating a hostile environment for her because of my response to her. And, I said, what? I'm creating a hostile environment. I said, because I was educating you. I was edifying you about the way you reacted to something that I provided to you because I was doing my job. And, the VP was like, well, I said, the VP said, well, did you talk to her? She says to the white woman across the table. The woman was like, no. Did you call her? No. Did you have any type of conversation with her about how you felt? No. I said, and this is my point. I said, she's bringing this issue to you. She never raised it with me. I said, but did she tell you what triggered the conversation? And no, she did not. So I went back. I rewind the tape. I loaded up again, and I rewind the tape, and I explained to her what happened. And once again I said to her, two things. Number one, you made an assumption about an article based on the fact that the child on the article was black. Issue for me. I'm the only African American here in this organization. And issue number two, do not deprive yourself of knowledge that could be used to educate that 1% that you claim only existed in your county, just because you're not trying to be diverse and inclusive and rejecting the information, which was a very valuable article on the sole basis of the way the article looked.
So I'm picking up 2 points here when it comes to conflict management, and it has to do with the sensitivity level of the people who are involved in the conflict. Because we already made the point about, everybody having their triggers and what have you. And it sounded like, your sensitivity came from the fact that obviously you were the only black woman in this all-white environment or non-black environment. And for her sensitivity level probably had to do with the fact that she wasn't prepared or had the, what's the word I'm looking for? Ability, the tools to be able to approach you about what it was that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Her sensitivity to having a conversation with you about that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, she just did, it was non-existent.
Right.
So,
right.
I guess point being is sometimes you got to step outside of yourself and be like, what could this other person possibly be thinking? I think that's important when it comes to conflict management too.
Mm-hmm.
Is you got to get out of your own feelings.
Right. You definitely have to get out of your own feelings, and there's so many factors that really affect your ability to resolve a conflict, because one of the things that was affecting our ability to resolve the conflict was, of course, the race thing.
Right.
But more importantly, the gender thing, because females are a little different when it comes down to resolving, conflict, especially, if you're socialized a little differently. And so, that was, that could affect your ability to deal with conflict. And then the other thing is just your self-concept.
Yeah. How did it get resolved?
We just kind of, sat there and had the conversation. I explained to her what...
You needed the mediator, though.
I needed the mediator there because I knew myself. So I was, on one end, I was glad she was there. On the other end, I was irritated because I felt like I was, I was kind of caught off guard. Like you jacked me up and had me sitting here, in front of this firing range, and I didn't have an opportunity to prepare myself for the discussion, but I was ready. So having a mediator there, explaining to her what my responsibilities are in my role. So I'm within my responsibilities. I'm supposed to share information. Rather, it is about Asian Americans, Latino Americans, whatever it is, my job is to share that information, because I want to make sure that you are fully knowledgeable and ready to engage any audience. And so that's including that 1% African American that exists in that county. And then we came away with some action steps, like how can we move forward where
clear expectations. I think that too is important when you're talking about managing conflict. When you have clear expectations, preferably in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And not on the backside, but better late than never, as long as they come about. That's the main thing. So as we bring this show to a close, I think the message is that in conflict management, and we'll keep talking about it in later shows too, but the main messages are self-awareness. Mm-hmm. You got to know you got to know what your triggers are, you got to know how you would normally handle those situations, and if it's unacceptable, then you got to change that behavior and make it more towards a positive outcome than a negative outcome, because negativity, you could have flipped tables up in there.
Yeah, because your life experiences, right? You know what I mean? Knowing your life experiences, or will have an impact on that. And also, if you're not good at communication, you're not going to be able to resolve the issue at all. You got to be able to articulate clearly
what it is that's on your mind. And then I think the other thing from this scenario is that you've got to be able to show some empathy. Take yourself out of your skin, out of your feelings, out of your situation, and try to put yourself in the other person's shoes and see it from their point of view. Because, we live in a three-dimensional world, and everybody's got a different perspective. And that doesn't necessarily mean your perspective is wrong, but have some appreciation for another person's experiences and that kind of thing. But
and the last points that we want to make is when you're deciding how you're going to manage the conflict, these are the questions that you need to be thinking about. How important is the relationship to you between you and the person that you're about to resolve this issue with or not?
Yep. How vested are you in the outcome?
Right. How important is the issue that is that you're focusing on? For this one, there was a diversity issue, and that was really important to me. Are you willing to deal with whatever the consequences are that will arise as a result of you trying to resolve this issue?
Because there's always going to be
consequences. Right. And then the other thing is how much energy are you willing to expend on trying to resolve? Because sometimes it takes a lot of energy out of you to be able to resolve conflict. So you want to think about some of those questions when you're trying to address a conflict. those are critical in resolution.
So let us know what you think about conflict management. What else do you want us to talk about? Are there some issues that you want to share? Then definitely
like, comment, and share.
and join us again on Table Talk.
Carpool.
Wait a minute. Table Salt.
Table Talk Carpool.
Carpool with Dan and Shell. See you
Madness
next
and
time.
messages. Bye.
I better pay attention to the road.